Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. It's land. It's land. All right, Paula, let's go.
What about Blue Miracle?
Let's go to Blue Miracle. Sure.
It's actually a true story about an orphanage in Cabo San Lucas that wins a fishing competition and ends up saving their orphanage. That's that is losing money and is ready to shut down. And I was just so charmed by this film. It didn't get really great reviews, and I understand why it didn't get good reviews. But for me, I thought the director was very ambitious. I love Dennis Quaid, and I thought he was great in it. I love when I see an actor like Dennis Quaid just do a story like this, because the story is the star, not necessarily him, and he's the biggest star in it. And the lead actor, I'd never heard of him before, and I thought he was amazing. You know, every actor thinks they can carry a film and do a lead film, but very few can, and he's somebody who can. And I thought he did an incredible job. I was just thoroughly charmed by the story and by the characters. The younger characters were great. The visuals of it were very bold. They were a little obvious, but I didn't care. I just thought the whole story was charming. I think I don't like sentimental or cliche type films. I think it bordered on that, but for me, it never crossed over to that. And maybe for other people it did, but for me, it did not. I thought it was genuine. I don't use the word authentic anymore because that word has been bastardized by Hollywood. But I just yeah, exactly. So I just thought it was genuine. I thought it was honest. I thought it was sweet in a non-sentimental way. And I thought the director-writer, who was one and the same, I thought it was bold. I just take my hat off to him for getting the film made and having the budget that he had, because he clearly had a decent budget to do this. I feel like he really went there with some of the shots that he did. It could have felt like a smaller film, and it didn't. It felt like a big film. And they did get some press, but people can find it on Netflix, and you won't be disappointed. I think you want something to feel good about. I mean, it's really that, and again, it's a film that I'll watch again. I put it on, just under a film like a Stand and Deliver, where a bunch of kids that are, let's just say, ignored, by society and are more than the sum of their parts, and I think it's definitely in that vein for me.
I thought it was certainly has a very formulaic story, so something that we've seen before. But I think what I took away from this the most was the cinematography. It was just gorgeous. It's just beautiful to look at, and I think that's what I was first introduced to, and how this movie came into my radar. I believe it was on Twitter. There were some cinematography shots from cinematographer who was Puerto Rican, I believe. And I saw those shots and I was like, oh, I gotta watch this. This looks gorgeous. So I did, and then man, it was just a beautiful film to look at. I didn't mind the acting and the formulaic storyline, but what I took away the most from this movie was just the visuals. It's just gorgeous to look at. It's not a movie that I would probably watch again, but in comparison to the other films that are on the list, but certainly I would recommend it for people to go see it. I think my co-host certainly made a important point to she counter-argued my formulaic story by saying, well, we Latinos also deserve to have formulaic stories and everything. And I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. So it's certainly worth a watch.
I did get a chance to see it because you had recommended it, I think a few weeks ago. And I watched it with my mother and we loved the film. I think the reason why it's true that the story is perhaps may not be something that I would seek out to watch again. But if somebody said, "Hey, you want to go see this film?" I certainly would watch it in that regard, because it's a film that a family can see. And the reason why I think it works and kind of doesn't fall flat is because many of the characters are given other conflicts. Like, for example, Omar kind of gets approached many times to do things that he doesn't feel comfortable doing. And, I think we can all relate to that, where, like, I don't think I can do that. And, he has to set this example for all these, for everybody who's in his care. And oftentimes, I think we can find ourselves in a situation like that where we're questioning what's the right thing to do. And even in a situation where it may seem that you have the perfect solution, you just have to kind of look the other way. I think this story just reminds us that, sometimes, your decisions, people can always be watching your decision, even when you think they're not looking. So, these kind of take home messages, which, for a lot of stories, it doesn't necessarily hold a whole film together. When balanced with the right amount of conflict in these characters, which I think they did just the right amount, it makes a film that's worthwhile seeing. So I think they accomplished that here, and the performances were very, very good. And it is a feel-good film. So if you want to feel good, watch this film.
I love this movie. It's got a lot of heart. It's got a lot of charm. Obviously, it's an incredible real life story, which makes it even more endearing. We need more of these family films, because to watch a movie with your family where everyone can get something out of it is very rare nowadays. I love Quaid's character is Quaid being Quaid, which is good. That'll bring people eyeballs to the movie. And then Jimmy Gonzalez's performance is just really solid. It really solid. And I will even champion this one on the level of, it's good to see men being good father role model figures in this movie, which is so important. And Quaid is definitely a checkered father in this one, and he's inspired by this gentleman who is trying to keep his orphanage together. I mean, good stuff, man. And yeah, like what Rosa says, it's such a beautiful looking film. You almost think that it's going to be a lot deeper, right? Because it's like, whoa. Yeah.
They did probably got more press than a lot of the films that we've been talking about, with the exception of Sudden Move. And it is on Netflix. So, if enough people watch it, then that director will get another opportunity to tell another story. If he isn't already, in pre-production for another project, which I'm assuming he probably is.
I think this is his second movie, if I'm not mistaken.
So that's how it works. You know what I mean? Like if enough eyes watch this, then he'll get another opportunity to do something else. And, that's how it goes.
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. The slam. The slam. All right, Paula, let's go.